guys? Jimbo203 back at you with another one. This is a story about Fox's Tucker Carlson. His top writer, also a Fox employee, resigns after secretly posting racist and sexist remarks in an online forum. Wow, and this is the things he said, unbelievable. Let me read you some of this stuff. Says, the top writer for Fox News host Tucker Carlson has for years been using his pseudonym to post bigoted remarks on an online forum that is a hotbed for racist, sexist, and other offensive content. CNN Business has learned this week. Just this week, the writer Blake Neff responded to a thread started by another user in 2018 with the subject line, "Would you let a jet black Congo N-word do LASIK eye surgery on you for 50% off?" Neff wrote, "I wouldn't get LASIK from an Asian for free, so no." On June 5th, Neff wrote, "Black dudes staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down." Wow. On June 24th, Neff commented, "Honestly, given how tired black people always claim to be, maybe the real crisis is their lack of sleep." On June 26th, Neff wrote that the only people who care about changing the name of NFL's Washington Redskins are white libs and their university-educated pets. It's unbelievable, some of the stuff this guy said. Let me just read a couple more. Before I read the more that's coming, this guy, Tucker Carlson, was like the top guy for some nightly show at Fox, #1 show in the country, blah, blah, blah. Real piece of work. Just read this. Carlson himself has been accused by critics of making racist and inflammatory comments on air. His show has long appealed to extremists who agree with his hardline views on immigration, his emphasis on the preservation of Western culture, and his commentary on topics of race. Carlson has, at several points in his Fox News career, found himself in hot water when commenting on such topics. In August 2019, for instance, Carlson became engulfed in controversy when he said the very real problem of white supremacy in America was a hoax. Really? Most recently, Carlson saw more advertisers, including Disney and T-Mobile, flee his program in June after he said that Black Lives Matter movement was not about black lives, and warned viewers to remember that when they come for you. Disgusting. Now, we're going to get back to the threads of this guy, Neff, that writes for Carlson, who these two are like little buddies, or both racist in my opinion. In 2015, Neff started a thread on auto-admit mocking a woman with whom he was friends on Facebook and whom he described as an Asian mega shrew. Where you see AZN, like weird, sharing posts she had written about her dating life. He has continued to post a thread and mock the woman, whom CNN Business is not identifying, as recently as late last month. In his first post in 2015, starting the years-long thread, he explained that through circumstances he couldn't quite recall, he became Facebook friends with the woman and thought her posts about dating were amusing. "So I thought I'd post them," Neff wrote. "I won't put a pic, but it's probably relevant to say that she's a slightly overweight Asian woman, AZN, again, who is in her mid-30s and definitely looks it." Through the years, the thread has generated nearly 1,000 comments, many of which use vulgar, racist, sexist, and dehumanizing language to mock the woman. Neff also said he did not want other posters to harass her, but did not stop them from identifying her and posting links to her account. He also posted some photos from her account that she did not show her face and continued posting about her dating life for years after the other posters had identified her. Reach for comment. The woman told CNN Business, "When I was recently made aware of Blake's posts about me on racist websites, I was overcome with disappointment, which eventually mixed with bewilderment that he spent years dedicated to creating a false narrative based on my satirical writing about my life." Check this out. This is a pretty long video because this guy has done so much racist writing over the years in this thing, and it's finally came out. It's just crazy. And the dude Tucker Carlson at Fox, who's also racist and says racist, vulgar stuff, Fox is keeping him. The guy who writes for him, this guy Neff, he had to resign. But they're keeping Carlson. He's going on a fishing vacation. Okay, in March 2020, Neff started another lengthy thread mocking a separate woman with whom he had concentrated on social media. The woman had posted about freezing her eggs, and Neff apparently found that worth deriding. In an auto-admit forum, he began posting about her in March of this year in a thread he titled "Disaster Wu Flu Outbreak Endangers Aging Shrew's Quest to Freeze Eggs." Neff posted to the thread, which racked up dozens of comments as users ridiculed the woman as recently as June 28th. On the forum, Neff has also expressed bigoted views. In 2014, he joked about foodie, Faggots, I refuse to say the word. And the same year, he started a thread titled "Urban Business Idea." He didn't do muffin. He joked one item could be Sandra Bland's sugar-free shortbreads. Oh my God. Listen, if you guys don't know who Sandra Bland is, she was a black woman who was killed while in police custody. And it's long been believed that they took her mugshot while she was dead. And by the looks of the pictures, it looks like it. But she was killed by police. I don't give a shit what anybody says. And he's over here making fun of it. In August 2019, a user started a thread, "We should just buy Canada and kick the Canadians out." Neff commented, "Okay, but what do we do with the millions of Chinese people?" He really hates Chinese Asian people. What the hell? More recently, in February 2020, Neff called Mormonism an inherently cucky religion. On June 5th, a user on the forum commented in a thread, "Didn't Michael Brown rob a store and attack a police officer? And wasn't George Floyd a piece of shit with a long criminal record? That's terrible, god awful. Rest in peace on all these people who were killed by police. Everybody dead, man. Like, why are we talking about them like this? Like, a piece of shit with wrong JFC libs." Another person commented, "It doesn't matter to these people." Neff then replied, "It does. The violent criminals are even more heroic." On June 16th, a user started a separate thread about a video showing a black man assaulting an elderly white woman in New York. Neff commented on the thread, and to think if this guy got killed in some freak incident while being arrested, we have to endure at least 3 funerals in his honor. Freak incident? When officers are choking people, shooting people, killing people, it's crazy. This dude is the worst of the worst kind. I hate racism to the core. On the 4th of July, Neff started a thread in which he jokingly rated members of the community using images from a 1990s video game from the makers of Oregon Trail that was pulled from the market due to its racist depictions of slaves. In the game, users play as slaves trying to break free and escape north. Are you kidding me? Neff assigned users on the forum images from the game, many of which depicted black slaves using racist stereotypes. For instance, Neff assigned one user an image of a slave catcher, to which the user replied, "Thank you, Massa Charles, for this." On May 27th, Neff wrote that reps, oh my goodness, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib, known collectively as the Squad, want to make your country a dumping ground for people from third world shitholes. Why have I heard that word before? I think that's something the President of the United States says. Another racist in my opinion, but see, I'm not Democrat or Republican, just before we get any further. I'm for the best candidate, but this guy, he has shown enough bad stuff that I had enough. I can't. I didn't vote for him in the first place, but I was open to the idea of giving him a chance. He's done enough. I think he's got to go. Speaking, that's Trump, but now I'm going back to this guy, Neff, the racist, fellow racist. Responding to a thread on June 27th about whether whites fear what's going to happen to them in 10 to 20 years, Neff wrote that he has no plans to stay in the country that long. Oh, good. In December 2019, he said that once Democrats have the majorities to go full F Whitey, things are going to get really wacky really quick. He argued at that time that there is a large minority of whites who are fully supportive of a F Whitey agenda, and that there is a suicidal impulse to Western peoples that honestly feels almost biological in origin. When not making his own bigoted comments, Neff has shown a willingness to respond to others who are without expressing any hesitation, much less disgust about what they've said. For instance, in 2016, he replied to a thread with the title, "Mary Poppins getting raped by a pack of wild N-words at the park." What the? He's sick, man. This guy is sick. Kids watching. What? That same year, he commented on a thread titled, "Dykes Get Wrong Come at Comeback. N-word pops out." Are you kidding me? Just last month, Neff replied to a comment on the thread that said, "And the N-words are always honor students or some bullshit." The language on both posts were not censored on the forum. You understand the amount of crap this dude is writing? Like, he came out and said that he's appalled by what he has done and sorry. He's sorry he got caught. This dude wrote in here till last week for years. This guy is a low down scum. I'm sorry. Last month, Neff mocked a user who said they were leaving the board over concerns about the rampant racism on it. In a now deleted comment, the user implored others to consider the current environment, writing, "This country is undergoing a great awakening to racist injustices throughout society. Maybe you should take this opportunity to consider whether continuing to post here, meaning this racist website, is morally defensible at all, even if you aren't posting deranged shit. I don't think it is defensible, which is why I am leaving." On June 16th, Neff responded by quoting the user's words and adding, LMAO. "If you think this shit will save you when the mob comes for you, good riddance." Right here, the language notably echoed Tucker Carlson's comment 8 days before when he had said, "Remember that when they come for you." In February 2018, a user on AutoAdmit posted, "At some point in the future, all your XO posts will be public record." One person commented, "I stand by every post." Neff upvoted that comment. Right? Do you see that? At some point, they will be made public record. I stand by the post. He gave it a thumbs up. Well, now it's made public, and he says, "Oh, I'm disgusted by this," and yeah, you're disgusted you got caught, jack off. When he had just started working at Fox News, Neff was apparently less cautious and more willing to risk exposing his identity for a chance to show off to his fellow posters. One night in February 2017, which according to his LinkedIn or some crap would have been Neff's second month with Carlson at Fox News, Carlson tripped over his words as he introduced a guest. The phrase Carlson was trying to say was, even for the host, florid style, a little out of place. Sweet treats of scholarship. Within minutes, Neff was posting to AutoAdmit about Carlson's use of the phrase, which others posters gleefully noted was a reference to something said on the forum. So right there is saying that they knew who he was all this time, and they're just outing him now, but he was kind of giving it away that he worked for Carlson. Let's see. Neff responded to a post that quoted a news story about coronavirus-related interest in Montana real estate. He wrote on the forum, "Interest in real estate in Bozeman, Missoula, and the Flathead Valley has been on the rise for years." That night, in his monologue, Carlson said, "You're starting to consider maybe moving to Bozeman, and why wouldn't you?" In some cases, language Neff used on the forum ended up right on the show the night of June 15th, and commenting on a football coach who was the subject of controversy over a sweatshirt he worn. Neff wrote on the forum, "It is your effing right as an American to wear whatever t-shirt you want and hold whatever political views you want. Christ." The next night in his show, Carlson said, "And they could wear whatever shirts they want. You thought that was true. You thought that was your right as an American." So they're basically just showing that him and this guy, the racism is loved by each other, and their opinions are shared. Other times, Neff may have used knowledge he gained in his job at Fox News to post on the board. On the afternoon of July 1st, Neff started a thread titled, "Two GOP Senators Propose Replacing Columbus Day with Juneteenth." In the thread he wrote, "Coming out of this afternoon, if it isn't already isn't out already that afternoon. It was public that night. The proposal was discussed on where? Carlson'S show. So that's a lot of stuff, and for this guy to say he feels ashamed is appalling. And then listen to this. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. This guy, they asked Carlson to respond to Neff being outed as a racist, and his number one writer, and Carlson of Fox, says, uh, he goes on, hey, I don't agree with the racist and homophobic things, that he says, and he immediately, but the people who put it out are terrible, blah, 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 and attacks the person putting it out instead of going after the guy that's writing for you. And check this. 3 people have been, this is the 3rd guy that wrote for Carlson, right? That is a racist and writing racist stuff online that has been removed. Also, Carlson himself, like we read, has been in trouble with racist related things. All I gotta say is Jimbo 203 loves all races, all ethnicities, all people. I don't hate anyone. And if there was an enemy, it would be a single enemy. It wouldn't be against a whole race because me and one person are not getting along. It's just totally absurd that people in these huge jobs like this are doing stuff like this, and even more absurd that guys like Tucker get to keep their job after being outed for all this stuff. I know this time it was about his writer, but 3 writers already, and on his show they say 3 to 4 times he has been in trouble about racist things, and President Trump always retweets what he says and stuff like that. It's just a big old racist crowd running around there. But anyways, sorry for making it so long, but this guy said so much racist stuff. I just wanted it all to be out there and let everybody know what type of people are working at Fox. Like, comment, subscribe. That's my opinion, and what I just said. That's my opinion, and the facts are here on the paper. But not all Fox employees, but got 4 of them right there. Like, comment, subscribe. Jimbo 203. God bless everyone, every race, every ethnicity. Like, comment, subscribe. God bless. Have a great one. Peace.